Hello, this is Xbox Ahoy, and this is the 4th episode of my Black Ops 2 weapon guide. This time, we're covering the SVU-AS, a shortened version of the Dragunov. The SVU makes its Call of Duty debut in Black Ops 2, but the longer parent design was first seen in COD 4. The Dragunov SVU, or Snayperskaya Vintovka Ukorochennaya, translating as short sniper rifle, is a Russian rifle first introduced in 1994. It is a bullpup reconfiguration of the Dragunov SVD, with its magazine behind the trigger and a recoil-reducing muzzle brake to combat the heavy recoil from the full-power rifle cartridge the SVU fires, the 7.62 by 54mm rimmed. The AS suffix refers to a later variant of the SVU rifle design. The A stands for automatic, referring to a select fire ability, and the S refers to the attached bipod. This specific variant was designed for special forces requiring an adaptable weapon, where the select fire ability transforms a marksman's rifle into a fully automatic battle rifle when circumstances demand. Of course, in-game the weapon is essentially a semi-automatic weapon only. Select fire is not available. And while the bipod is present on the weapon, it is non-functional. Damage-wise, the SVU has the potential to kill in just one shot. But as far as the sniper rifles are concerned, it is the lowest damage weapon in its tier. In order to attain a single shot kill, you will need to strike your opponent directly in the head. In all other cases, you'll need 2 shots to kill. When equipped with the suppressor, even a headshot will be insufficient. The suppressed SVU is always a 2-shot kill. The sniper rifles have no range penalty. No matter your distance from your target, you can expect to deal the same amount of damage. Penetration ability is also high, but unlike the LMGs, the sniper rifle's slow rate of fire and limited magazine capacity mean you generally fare better when you can shoot your target directly. Rate of fire is the highest within the sniper class, although is by no means impressive. Your semi-automatic fire is capped to 415 rounds per minute. However, this does mean the SVU can fire the 2 shots often needed to kill in a fairly rapid succession. Hipfire performance is very poor. Not only do the sniper rifles have the highest hip divergence of any weapons, the SVU will also be likely to need 2 shots to connect. Leave hipfiring to the direst of emergencies, and look to your sidearm instead for reliable close-quarter performance. The SVU's handling traits are generally good, at least for the sniper rifle category. Recoil is the lowest in class, permitting fast follow-up shots out to a middle range. Useful given the low damage of the SVU. At a longer range, this recoil may throw off your aim, but your weapon's sway and a mobile opponent will prove to be more challenging variables than a mild dose of gun kick. Aim time is slow at 420 milliseconds. This means, like the other sniper rifles, you will not perform well in unexpected close-quarter gunfights. Preparedness is key then. To ensure advantage, you'll want to enter gunfights with your sights already raised and anticipate the arrival of your enemy. Movement speed with the sniper rifles is the same as the assault rifles, 95% of the fastest based movement speed. Magazine capacity is fair at 12 rounds, the highest within the sniper rifle category. Of course, the SVU is also the most likely to need these extra shots. You will find the magazine frequently empty. Thankfully, reloads aren't too bad either. At 2.94 seconds for a tactical reload, you'll be able to restock faster than any other sniper rifle. Extended clip will take your capacity to 17 rounds, and expand your starting 4 mag supply by the equivalent scale. So the SVU is a weapon built for rapid follow-up shots, and as such is probably the best choice in a sniper role for smaller maps with tighter choke points. The ability to quickly dispense rounds means accuracy is less important up close, and the poor one-shot kill potential means the SVU becomes ineffective at longer ranges. It's worth noting that the SVU has a lower than average zoom level for the sniper category. Its base magnification lies between the sniper default and the ACOG zoom level. Our build with the SVU is going to focus on this mid-range niche, with anticipation and area denial being our goal. Even with the SVU's relatively rapid fire, precision is important with all the sniper rifles. While you can spray with the SVU, To be truly effective, you need to direct your fire accurately. The optical attachments are a worthwhile addition to the snipers then, and with our build, in an unconventional move, we'll be combining two. First up, the dual band scope. This highlights enemies without cold-blooded in bright yellow, and will allow you to see through smoke and dust. It is also not a bad scope in its own right, and the highlighting of enemies can be useful when picking off foes lurking behind head-high cover at a distance. Unlike its previous incarnations, the infrared scope and thermal sight, the dual band doesn't obscure too much detail. At the very least, you can still see enemies with cold-blooded. Our second attachment is another optical one, but remains compatible with the dual band, and will help enhance the SVU's versatility. Variable zoom gives you two magnification options, one wide angle, another telescopic. The wide angle option is of a lower zoom than the default SVU level, which, when paired with a dual band, will allow you to scan a much wider area more quickly. This lower zoom is very useful in close quarters too, as you lose less of your peripheral vision, reducing tunnel vision and generally helping your reactivity. When the situation dictates longer ranged combat, you can simply zoom in for a more precise view and line up a lethal headshot on an unaware opponent. Together, these two options make for a versatile weapon, unperturbed by targets at any range, nor by smoke or poor visibility. It is only in close range gunfights where you will be at a disadvantage, and for that reason it's important to pack an able secondary. In the right hands, any of the pistols will be a useful tool for a sniper, with the possible exception of the executioner. The Cap 40 or B23R are probably the best choices for those reliant on their sidearm for close quarters. The automatic fire will prove more reliable against opponents wielding SMGs. It can be worthwhile spending a point on an attachment on your secondary too. Extended clip for the Cap 40 or B23R can be very useful. Another potential option here is to forego a secondary weapon and instead elect the overkill wildcard with a primary SMG. But you will suffer from a far slower switch time when using two primaries, which can hamper the reactivity of your defense. In most cases, the pistols prove able enough against a greedy enemy hoping to prey upon a helpless sniper. Our perk selection will help us to hold critical firing positions for longer, and provide some advance warning of nearby enemies. Blind Eye is our first choice, protecting you against enemy AI-controlled aerial killstreaks. While this might not seem like a huge advantage, hunter-killers are common, and the luxury of being able to safely hold a position is worthwhile for a sniper. In addition, you can exploit the fact that your enemy will become bullish when they have a killstreak advantage. Often, they'll run right into your kill zone. Second up, cold-blooded works nicely in tandem, eliminating some of the electronic means your enemy has to uncover your position. You'll be invisible to the dual band, MMS, sensor grenades, player-controlled killstreaks, and the target finder, leaving those who rely on such aiming assistance at a disadvantage. In addition, you benefit from no red name above your head when your enemy has you in their sights. This can buy you valuable time, and your enemy's hesitation may spell their demise. Our third perk will sometimes help in giving you an auditory cue to switch to your sidearm. Awareness will amplify footsteps nearby, and while footsteps are generally incredibly quiet, sometimes such a subtle cue can save your life. In some cases you may not be able to react in time, but if an enemy is just passing by and they fail to notice you on account of cold-blooded, being able to hear such opponents may help you to better prepare your defense. Of course, any additional defense is always welcome, so a Claymore or Bouncing Betty in your lethal slot can help lock down a firing location. Although be warned, this may give away your location to enemies with Engineer. Finally, for your tactical slot, the smoke grenade works very well in tandem with the dual band scope. Toss one near objectives and pick off enemy attackers through the smoke, or use one to escape when your position has been compromised. With cold-blooded, smoke will provide entirely effective obscuration, allowing you to fall back and eliminate anyone foolhardy enough to follow you. That's our build, with a versatile set of optics on the SVU, some stealth aspects, and resistance to many killstreaks. This loadout will help you to safely occupy a firing position for longer, and when coupled with good knowledge of map flow, you can lie in wait and deny passage to the enemy. That's not to say you should camp, of course. In fact, remaining reactive and keeping track of the enemy's spawn is absolutely vital to performing well. The better you can predict the enemy's movement, the better you can move yourself to an advantageous position, and the more damage you can do. The SVU-AS is the lowest damage sniper rifle, but is arguably the most suited to more aggressive play, closer to the enemy. The low recoil means you can send accurate shots downrange very quickly, and the reasonable magazine capacity and swift reload means this tactic is quite sustainable. It is the slow handling and lower damage that is the SVU's key downfall. The key advantage of most sniper rifles is their ability to instantly snuff opponents. With a 2-shot kill, the SVU is essentially on par with the high-damage assault rifles at a middle range. The SMR and FAL deal similar damage, and boast far better handling traits. Still, these weapons do lack the one-shot headshot of the SVU, and will suffer damage drop at range. If you can consistently hit the head, the SVU will prove quite deadly, with the saving grace of faster follow-up shots in those cases when you miss. While accuracy remains important, the SVU is perhaps the most forgiving sniper rifle, suiting those favouring a hail of lead over single precise shots. This shortened, dragon-derived rifle might not breathe fire, but it certainly spits bullets. Thanks for watching, this has been Xbox Ahoy. Join me next week when I'll be covering the first shotgun, the Remington 870 MCS. Until then, farewell.